And that kind of led us to a kind of a really, I would say, shocking conclusion, which is the estimates of sort of 30% in 30 years or 40% in 40 years bore no relation at all to what actually a large organisation like Deutsche Bank might have. Because a large part of the work that's done in such an organisation is stuff which is readily automatable today. We just haven't got around to it yet. And that's kind of the core of the problem. So we started thinking about the nature of work, and I think that's where we came to a different analysis. And I'll kind of I gave this analysis originally in a TED talk about 2 years ago, but I'll kind of expand on it for you all today, and I'm happy to answer questions. So there's a lot of speculation as to will we create new jobs because of automation, and I think that the problem those of us who are very worried about this space have is that history has taught us that in fact look at today, we have full employment. In fact, we have record levels of employment in the UK. And we've had a lot of technological change. So over time, there's always been new jobs to help people who are displaced through the effects of automation. But there's a big category difference, I think, between the technology that we've had in the past and the technology that we're bringing to the fore today. And that difference really is that the technology of the past has been, the big impact has been things which humans can't do, sort of superhuman skills. So, for example, machines that can lift more than a person, or machines that can count or recall information faster, or machines that can fly, things that we just simply can't do. And that's led to us totally transforming the world from the agricultural society and the mercantile society we had through to the industrial society and information age, totally transformed. And yes, there's technology that's been able to do things that people are very good at as well. That's really been the fringes of what we've done with technology and technological change. So then we're left really with everything else that you and I are good at. And that's really the area of technology research that we're starting to see come to industry. So in robotics, we're seeing there's a great company here in London called Shadow Hand, I think, or Shadow Robotics. And they have a robot hand which is fully dexterous. It can do a Rubik's Cube. It's quite creepy actually looking at it, but it's very impressive, the engineering that goes behind it. So we're starting to see robots with a level of dexterity that is equivalent to that of a human. The Robo Cup, if anyone has seen this, it's quite hilarious watching these little gizmos try and play football with each other and fall over themselves and the ball. But the guys and girls behind that series believe that by 2050, the players in the Robo Cup will be able to beat a human, or the best human football team. And that's only 31 years away. And judging by the progress that they've been making over the last 10 years or so, I wouldn't take bets on whether they'll achieve that or not. So in terms of dexterity, if machines are starting to be able to perform all of the physical things that we can do, then that has a real challenge for those tasks which are the basis for employed work. And then in terms of the workspace, where people are using their mental abilities, again, the big breakthroughs are in areas where maybe just 20 years ago or 15 years ago we thought the machines would never be able to reach human levels of achievement. So things like looking at an image and being able to write a caption and recognise what is in an image, to write commentary, speech, not speech recognition, but translation, all those sort of things. Previously, those were thought to be purely the preserve of people, and maybe we were a century away from being able to master that. But really, the breakthroughs we've had with machine learning, the amount of data we've got, the ubiquity of computing power, has meant that in very narrow areas, but slice by slice, we've been able to solve those problems. And that's before we even thinking about how we reorganise work. The sort of the software development life cycle of sort of chopping an entire process down and reconstituting it so the human only has to do the minimum. So Deliveroo is probably the best example of that. The problem that you and I will have tonight about how are we going to feed ourselves. Deliveroo has solved that, but really putting the human in the loop in the absolute smallest necessity of the place. And that obviously is makes that person very vulnerable to future automation. So if you look at those that way of thinking about it, so superhuman skills and then human level skills, in the past what we've done is really brought in superhuman technology, and today what we're looking at is technology that can replicate our skills and abilities. That paints a very bleak picture for the future of work. But there is maybe a saving grace within all of this, and that's something which I think despite all the other methodologies, the methodology that I used was the things that require human touch, the things that human touch is a necessity for. That's the area where people have a necessary role to play, and we can all argue about where human touch is valuable. And I think actually that is actually the exercise of philosophy, to be able to have that debate as society and decide for ourselves what we think where human touch has value. But going back to the bank, if you look at the 100,000 people in the bank, look at the things that can be automated and the things that specifically require human touch, there aren't that many roles. Obviously there's customer service facing roles, maybe strategic thinking roles, creative roles. Those are roles that require human touch, but you may be talking about 10% would be a generous estimate in terms of the number of jobs. So you've got a very large potential exposure, and the question is, how do you have the conversation in society, and how do you responsibly lead that change? And I think it was seeing how a large organisation is thinking through those challenges is what really led me to start talking publicly about the challenges I see coming down the pipe, and maybe some of the strategies that we need to think about to solve it. So I think I'm out of time. So that's a little bit of background in terms of me and where I see the problem lying, and I look forward to your questions and having a bit of debate later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles. Has everyone got a seat? There's one seat here. Is there any more? There's some chairs outside, I think, still. Okay, I mean, that was really interesting. I think, the whole question of how do we have a conversation with society over the issues that we're facing is one that I don't think a lot of us have considered seriously enough. And maybe this could be one of the beginnings of doing that, and I hope we can do more on it. I was quite interested, by the way, that by 2050, robots might be able to beat any real football team. I think if I tell that to my grandson, he would say, well, that may be true, except for Sheffield Wednesday. But who knows? Anyhow, we've got David now, and he's going to follow on from Charles and tell you about his perspective on this.
Thanks very much, and thanks to Charles too. Indeed, I am going to follow on from Charles's comments, which I thought set the scene very nicely. So I chair London Futurists. I also do some research which I write up on the Transpolitica website from time to time. I'm going to focus on one thing. I'm going to focus on giving an answer to the question. Bearing in mind the likely changes in work in the future, what is the skill that we should acquire? I've often been asked this. I've often given lists of 4 or 5 things. Do this, do this, do this, and do this, and you may have a good chance of flourishing in the future. But I've now come to the view there's one answer to this question above all others. So what would you think is the one skill that we should acquire to help us to flourish in the changed future?
Empathetic.
Empathetic, yes?
Creativity.
Creativity?
The ability to learn.
The ability to learn?
Adaptability.
Say again?
Adaptability. Yeah.
Adaptability, the ability to learn, agility, creativity. These are all good answers. My answer is, now you may not like this, some of you might want to walk out of the room. It's not hard because we're quite crushed. My answer is politics. We need to become better at politics. And you may say, David, do you mean politics with a small p? And not really. I mean working with groups of people in the art of the possible with politics. That is important in the chaos that may lie ahead as large percentages of some kind of jobs change. But I am talking about politics with a capital P. We need to get collectively better at influencing the discussion of national priorities, regional priorities, social priorities. What big decisions are being made by our politicians are frankly not up to the scale of the challenges ahead. And if we learn more about creativity and learn more about adaptability, we might be a little bit better able to flourish in the future. But if we have the wrong political discussion about the future of jobs, then I think we are all in a bad situation. So what I'm meaning is we need to help society to figure out a new social contract, a way in which we collectively share out the dividends of the abundance that is created by companies, by automation, by technology. How do we share out the subsidies? How do we share out benefits, healthcare, pensions? How do we pay taxes? We have a kind of social contract. It sort of works some of the time, but it's very unlikely to work well in the changed world of the future, in which more and more jobs that we do now can be done by automation instead. So I'm interested in the question, what kind of impact can we have? How can we be better at influencing politicians so that our social contract, how we encourage and support each other, or if you're not very neighbourly, at least how do we coexist with each other in a way that makes sense? And it's my view that the social contract that we have today is under great pressure because of what we've been talking about. Automation is displacing more employees from at least some parts of the workforce. And we may not yet have a lot of technological unemployment, but we're already seeing a lot of technological underemployment. People are in work, but they are not getting as much salary as they had expected. The average salary in the terms of the salary of the average person, the median, has in many countries not gone up for a long time. It's gone down. In America in particular, it hasn't gone up that median salary since, shockingly, in real terms, since the 1970s. So there's a lot of people feeling that their jobs are now in a precarious situation. They might be able to have a job, but they're not members of unions anymore. There's 0-hour contracts. And because they don't have a quartz proper job, it's hard for them to get financing, and so on. So there's more and more people in the precariat, with a sense of growing inequality. And some people are putting on yellow jackets and they're telling people, Macron, you not listen to us. Other people are putting on metaphorical yellow jackets and complaining that there's more anger and alienation ahead. And I think it's going to increase. And we have to be ready for it to increase. And as a futurist, I want to talk about how change happens. People often predict change, and it doesn't seem to happen for a while. But it's my observation that change often goes through a slow phase before it goes through the fast phase. It goes through an underwhelming phase before suddenly we are overwhelmed by it. It goes through a phase in which it's been overhyped, it's disappointing before we get to the big disruption and the really chaotic change. And this happens, slow, fast, oh my God, really fast. And I think we're starting to see that, and we are likely all to be left behind unless we are planning for it better. And I'm talking not just about the pace at which technology improves, I'm talking about the pace at which technology has impacts on our society. A few examples. Charles has already touched on some of this. These are all examples in which today we humans might think our jobs are safe because we are doing creative or compassionate or caring things which computers and robots can never do. Futurists have been predicting for a while, eventually robots will catch up in these fields, and there is good evidence in my mind that robots, AI, is catching up with, for example, understanding emotions,